Hey all you cool cats and kittens, it's me, Sarah Welsh, filling in for Carol Baskin, wearing sunglasses because I did not feel like putting makeup on today, and that's just how it goes sometimes. Let's take a walk down Kitty Cat Lane in Austin, Texas. Come with me. Let's see what we can find today. Oh, here's one in the wild. Just rolling in the dirt. Natural habitat. This video is all about personal websites, but a lot of these tips will apply if you're working on a page of any kind that is mostly about you that you manage. So first, why have a website at all? This whole semester we've been talking about personal branding, and a website or portfolio or even a YouTube channel will do just that. Having a website will also provide you with increased visibility online and a little more control of your web presence. You'll also give recruiters and hiring managers something else to look at, especially if you're in a creative field that requires some knowledge of online visibility. Portfolios can also be folded into a personal website, or the website can operate on its own. These are a great way for you to display writing, art, or anything else you work on that you want to display in one digitally organized space. For example, are you hoping to get a job or land freelance work, or is it just for fun? What's important to you? What do you want to share with other people? I'd encourage you to make a list of the content that will support this goal. That might be a portfolio and a resume, or it might be a blog, or it might be something else entirely. Two things that you will always need, even if you're doing a YouTube channel or a floating portfolio of some kind like ArtStation, you'll want an About section that gives you some more information about you and some kind of contact info. Of course, contact information might just be an email address, or it might be a link to your LinkedIn or some other way to get in contact with you easily. Also, if you're creative, once you start working, including testimonials can be a really good, just sort of basic thing to have on your site. There are lots of different web platforms that you can use. WordPress.com is kind of the standard and it's easy to use. It's also free if you don't buy your domain, but it's relatively cheap if you do. It's either monthly or yearly. Wix is also free and easy. Weebly is another one similar to Wix. Squarespace is what I use. It's expensive, but it's really nice. Though I moved from WordPress over to Squarespace once I had a little bit more of the financial ability to do so. I think it's like $100 something a year. Domain name. So there's lots of reasons to buy your own domain name. I originally bought mine through WordPress and then moved it over to Squarespace. You can also buy your domain name on something like GoDaddy.com just to have it, if your name is still available. That is, chances are it's not, because there's usually someone else in the world who has your name. There are a lot of reasons to buy your domain name. And there's a great article linked in the description about why you might want to do that and how you can do so. It's an older article, but I think a lot of the advice still checks out. That's the Life Hacker article. Now, I know I'm telling you about a lot of things you need to buy, and you don't necessarily have to do any of this now. I didn't buy anything until I got really serious about where I was going and knew what kind of jobs I was in the market for. Back to some site specifics. Make sure you use free high quality images, and here are some sites you can find those on. I personally like Unsplash. There's a lot of great free photos on there, and you often still want to attribute those. They would prefer that, but they're not going to come fine you for using them, which can happen and has happened to people I know, so be careful. Also think about what sites affiliated with you that you want your website to connect to. Do you want your website to be separate from your social media accounts? What's the ecology of your site? Is it going to stand on its own? And it's often really easy on most platforms to add a link to Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or anything else you might want that already exists online. Even Twitter, a lot of journalists use Twitter. So if you're a writer and you also use Twitter, you may include that. But just think about which social media channels you want to include on your site, or even link to on your YouTube. Emphasizing strengths. So my last video was all about emphasizing strengths when you don't have a lot of tangible experience, and a lot of those same tips really do apply here. When you don't have a lot of stuff to display, you'll want to include your best work, even if it's only a few pieces. That's okay. You can have also a longer about section with more of a longer bio. You can add more images to your site. And there are lots of ways to sort of obscure, but not lie about, having less work to show. So if you're using a blog, for instance, you can also, only display a few posts per page, so it looks like more. And, there's a lot of different things you can play with about that. The last thing I want to talk about is SEO. And I included some articles on SEO below, but basically, search engine optimization, which is what this stands for, means it's easier for search engines to find you. So some basics about this are including an about page, having your name on the site, and some affiliated keywords that someone might search for on the landing page. So you might say like Sarah Welsh, writer, or Sarah Welsh, chemist, so that if somebody's searching on Google and they're typing in those search engines, this combination, those search terms, this combination of words will have them come to you more easily anyway. You also want to link to your website whenever you can from other pages that you manage. So like LinkedIn is a good place to do this, or even Facebook. Facebook has a pretty good SEO. It rises to the top of search results pretty quickly. So the value of linking from other websites to your website is that Google sees a website linking to your portfolio and it thinks this is a good website. They're linking to this site, so it must be a good site. And there's some more resources on this in the description if you want to read and learn about this a little more. Having a blog is also good because Google will point to sites that are regularly updated. So that concludes our video about personal websites and portfolios and other professional pages that you manage. Don't forget to check out some of the links in the description, which are good resources that I like, and I will also send you some sample pages and portfolios for as related to a lot of the projects you're doing on Canvas. So stay tuned for that in today's discussion. Thanks for joining me on this journey about professional web presence. I know mine is certainly a great example to follow after these totally crazy videos. Obviously, I watched all of Tiger King. That's what I've been doing. I don't know how. Tita's like falling asleep. I'll see you next time.